Hello everyone, this is Killenberg. Today I'm going to be reviewing Saw from 2004, not to be confused with the 2003 short film with the same name. Like the 2003 movie, this was directed by James Wan and written by Leigh Whannell. This is one I'd actually recommend seeing before you watch this review. Well, I really recommend you seeing any movie before I review it, but you know what I mean. Now, if you haven't seen this movie, I will warn you it does involve torture. This movie starts with something going down a drain, and we see a man get out of a tub like he was in the water. This man is actually played by Leigh Whannell. His character's name is Adam. We see another man in the bathroom with him. The other man is played by Cary Elwes. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. And his character's name is Lawrence Gordon, also known as Dr. Gordon. And in the middle of the floor we see what appears to be a dead body. It appears he shot himself. Now they find a tape recorder and some tapes that they're supposed to follow. Dr. Gordon says to kill Adam by 6 o'clock. Adam also finds a bag with hacksaws in it, in the toilet, in the top of the toilet. He does look in the bottom of the toilet, but it's not there. So they fail to cut the chains off, and Adam's actually breaks. So Dr. Gordon says he doesn't want us to cut through our chains, he wants us to cut through our feet. And he tells Adam about the Jigsaw Killer, who he says isn't much of a murderer, because he doesn't kill them himself, he puts them in traps to kill them. And we find out Dr. Gordon was a suspect. So then we see a flashback. Get ready to hear that word a lot, because Saw uses those a lot. The reason he was a suspect is they found his pen at the scene of the crime. The two detectives are David Tapp, who is played by Danny Glover, and Steven Singh. Now we actually see them investigate multiple traps, and I'll just skip through those. One of them has a man in a cage made out of razor wire, and he gets tied up in it. He's there because he was cutting himself, and Jigsaw wanted to know, did he cut himself for attention or did he want to die? Well, if anyone's wondering what this guy's name was, it was Paul. So then we see another trap with a man named Mark. Jigsaw asked him if he's so sick, why is he always up and about? So this guy's trap, he has to find the antidote to the poison in his body, which is in a safe. The combination of the safe is on the wall. There's like a bunch of numbers on the wall. He's covered in a flammable substance, and he has to use a candle to find the combination. He ends up getting burned alive. Then there's Amanda Young, who is the only survivor, well, so far. She's there because she's a drug addict. Her trap is actually very similar to the one in the short film. There is a difference though. When she cuts open the guy with the question mark on his stomach, we actually do see his guts. After she passes the test, Billy the puppet shows up and tells her she passed. After the flashback ends, Tapp asks her, "Are you grateful?" And she said, "He helped me." Now there's another part where Detective Tapp and Singh go to a warehouse without a warrant, and the Jigsaw Killer's there. See, at first they find this guy tied up and there's drills about to, kill him. And after failing to find the key, Singh shoots off the drills. And they try to go after Jigsaw. Jigsaw actually slits the throat of Tapp. Singh wasn't as lucky though. He went down a hall and there was a trap set up which had a shotgun on it, and it blows his head off. Oh, it's another thing I thought I should mention. Tapp actually tells him, "You're sick." And he said he is sick from this disease. And you'll find out what I mean later. So with Dr. Gordon, we find some things out about him. Like he has a daughter named Diana, a wife named Allison, but she goes by Allie. And she claimed someone was in her room. And she wanted Dad to check it out, which, as you know, Dad is Dr. Gordon. And he did, but, since this is a movie, no one was there. Or it seemed that way. And then he started playing this little piggy with her. For those that don't know, she's a little girl. Then his pager went off. And she said she hates that thing, but she hates when it goes off. And I'm sorry if I'm going out of order. There's another part where Gordon actually offers to show Adam his family, and he throws him his wallet. And Adam looks through it, and he finds a picture of Allie and Diana tied up. He doesn't have the heart to tell him. The photo also says X marks the spot. We do also learn about Adam too, we see that he was kidnapped in some apartment, and he seems to be a photographer. I'll get into that later too. Oh, there's a part I forgot to mention. Adam, threw the hacksaw at the mirror, and he found out it's a two-way mirror. So they found out they're being watched. So Adam suggests they turn off the lights. And when they did, they find an X on the wall. And in it they find a box. In the box, they find 2 cigarettes, a lighter, and a one-way cell phone. Dr. Gordon tried to use the cell phone, but it didn't work. Now, this is actually factually incorrect. By law, every phone has to be able to call 911. So, the fact he couldn't call 911 doesn't actually make sense. So then they come up with this idea. Oh, Adam has the idea, he says, when he sees the cell phone, he says, "The greatest invention." And then after he sees the cigarette, he said, "Make that the second." And Dr. Gordon says, "You really want something that was in here in your mouth?" And he said, "Yes, I'll take the risk." So then they use the cigarette. Well, Dr. Gordon does. He puts it in the blood to make it look like, he poisoned it. See, there was 2 cigarettes. There was a message saying, you don't need a gun to kill Adam. So he put the good cigarette in the blood. and Adam smoked it and pretended to die, and then he was electrocuted. And we see a flashback of Dr. Gordon being kidnapped in a parking lot. He was attacked by someone in a pig mask. The reason this happened is he was trying to use his cell phone. And then Adam recalls when he was abducted, and he was in his photo development room. The power went out. He also found Billy the puppet. Okay, I guess I should call it the puppet, but you know what I mean. Eventually, Allie calls Dr. Gordon at gunpoint. Oh yeah, they're tied up and everything too. Of course, you probably already know it from the photo. There is a scene about that too, though. Yeah, that scene, we see like a figure. He's wearing like a sheet when he's doing it. Well, before he's fully doing it. And for those that don't know, we're supposed to think this man is the Jigsaw Killer. But we find out that Adam was actually taking photos of Dr. Gordon that night. It turns out someone hired him. Yeah, he's one of those people that makes money off like exposing celebrities and like rich people and stuff. Well, he said rich, but you know what I mean. But Adam describes him as a tall black guy with a scar on his neck. We find out it's Detective David Tapp. And we find out he actually had an obsession with the Jigsaw case. When Dr. Gordon first tells him, he said, whoa, this guy is not a cop. But he's not a cop anymore. He lost it after his partner died. Then we find out the man that tied up Allie and Diana is Zepp, who works at the hospital. Zepp orders Allie to tell Dr. Gordon that he failed. We found out she managed to free herself before that. So she tells him, but while he's distracted, she attacks him. We also find out Tapp is actually watching his house. But in this situation, it's actually good, because the struggle actually got his attention. So he ran to the house. Tapp chases Zepp to the sewers. Unfortunately, when there, Tapp gets shot in the chest. Dr. Gordon, who hears, gets shocked, like Adam did. And Adam says, see, I wasn't lying, see? So in desperation, he can't reach the phone more, and even try to use his shirt to grab it. He cuts off his foot with a hacksaw, and grabs the gun and shoots Adam. Zepp enters the bathroom and tries to kill Dr. Gordon because it's the rules. But it turns out Adam is still alive, and he overpowers Zepp, and he actually beats him to death with the toilet tank lid. Gordon crawls out to get help, and he promises to come back for him. Adam searches Zepp's body for a key, and he finds the tape recorder. We found out Zepp is actually a victim himself. The Jigsaw Killer made him do this, and he actually had a poison in his body, and Jigsaw was going to give him the antidote if he did all that. After that was over, the dead body stands up. Well, the body we thought was a dead body. And he ripped off the gunshot wound. You know, because it was a fake gunshot wound. And he tells Adam the key is in that bathtub. Then he recalls the thing going down the drain. So yeah, the key went down the drain at the very beginning. And then we get flashbacks from earlier, where it shows a man in the hospital. And Dr. Gordon talk about a tumor. Adam attempts to shoot John, but is then again electrocuted. So then John shuts off the lights and slams the door shut. And we hear Adam scream. Fun fact about this ending, James Wan actually had to leave the room because he couldn't handle hearing his best friend scream. Now overall, I thought this was a good movie. I liked the idea of this movie too. It was actually an original idea. I mean, not super original, there was movies with torture, but I mean how they did it. How I think of these movies, as you know, there's flashbacks through the movies. I like to think of them as a puzzle, and you put the pieces together. And I don't think that was done by accident with the whole killer being named the Jigsaw Killer and everything. This is also one of my favorite horror movies. Alright, I hope you enjoyed my review of Saw. I'll see you guys again soon.